Next on Worcester News tonight, budget cuts across the state will affect organizations in Worcester. We'll have more. Plus, ski season opening up today as temperatures drop in central Mass. We'll have more from the slopes. Thank you for joining us. I'm Catherine Rioli. Earlier this week, Governor Charlie Baker announced budget cuts in Massachusetts that will impact organizations right here in central Mass. State representatives in Worcester held a press conference in protest of the proposed cuts. Our Cam Jandro was there and has reaction from today's meeting.
These are small organizations that depend on this money.
Worcester representatives are speaking out in response to Governor Charlie Baker's recent budget cuts. They say over $640,000 will be cut from programs in Worcester. Representatives Mary Keefe, Dan Donahue, and John Mahoney gathered at Friendly House in Worcester to protest the cuts.
And this money provides service and connection for people where it wouldn't happen otherwise, or it would be very difficult to happen otherwise.
But when it comes to the city of Worcester and to our residents, it's a major impact on the services, on the people that depend on those services.
The Friendly House and UMass Memorial Medical Center's Down Syndrome program are two of the organizations who would be impacted.
Well, it would impact us from a variety of areas. One, I think the most tragic way is to have to say to people, we do not have any alternatives.
But I'd ask the governor to look in a different direction. The Down syndrome clinic is something people go to because they have to go to, not because they want to go to it.
Governor Charlie Baker is looking to cut $98 million from the state's budget. Baker's budget chief, Kristen Lepore, said in a statement, "We are acting to put the budget back in balance for the hardworking people of Massachusetts as provided under 9C authority in response to softening revenues, unavoidable spending deficiencies, and the legislature's decision to restore spending above the administration's signed balanced budget." Those impacted say they hope their funding is restored.
No one wants to go to a Down syndrome clinic, but it's a necessity, and I ask him not to cut from necessities.
Now, the fiscal year doesn't end until June of 2017, so it is still possible to see adjustments made to the budget. Representative Mary Keefe says she does believe that the cuts were premature, but she hopes to see some changes made in the near future. Catherine?
Thank you, Cam. Temperatures plunging into the teens tonight and through the weekend, and one local ski area is taking advantage of the cold weather to make as much snow as they can after a delay due to the warm fall here in central Massachusetts.
Frustrating when the temperatures don't drop down and we can't make snow.
A warm fall in central Massachusetts may have left some ski areas frustrated, but tonight Ski Ward in Shrewsbury jumped on the opportunity with a cold front, sending temperatures into the teens. Well, it's finally cold enough outside to make snow here at Ward Hill, and there is a lot of it. And as you can see, it's pretty thick snow, great for skiing. One of the trails is already open here. The mountain expects with the dropping temperatures, this weekend will be a big one.
We've been running all day and all night, so hopefully we'll get the other trails open.
The management says the warm temperatures and rain this fall have delayed the snowmaking process. They jumped on the opportunity to bring out the snow guns with the cold forecast through the weekend.
We typically try and start right after Thanksgiving, so it's pushed it back a little bit, but the rain that we got was much needed, so now we're ready to go.
Ski Ward opened one of its trails today at 4. Skiers and snowboarders hit the trails. Many were eager to finally put on their skis.
How long have you been waiting to be out here for?
Since the summer. Yeah. Now it looks as though ski season has begun in central Massachusetts, even if it came a few weeks late. And you may have heard the expression, no good deed goes unpunished, and sounds like that's the case for a Worcester man who found a phone and was then assaulted by the phone's owner. The man found a phone at Walgreens. He went home, and a short time later, 2 men banged on his door demanding the phone. The men then allegedly broke a window and let themselves into the house, grabbed the phone, and pulled out a machete to threaten the victim. That victim suffered an arm injury, and police are on the hunt for the other 2 people. A man is beaten with a metal pipe in a street fight, and Worcester police are trying to figure out who was responsible. This happened around 7:30 last night on Plantation Street. Police got calls that 4 men were fighting. When police arrived, they found a man with a large cut behind his ear. Police say he wouldn't talk to them about what happened or who hit him. The victim was hospitalized, and police are trying to find who attacked the man. It was once only the city of Worcester, but now the gun buyback program has 16 communities involved. Weapons are exchanged for gift cards in hope of keeping cities and towns safe. A press conference Friday highlighted the importance of the program. Our Olivia Lemon was there and has more.
The goal of the annual Goods for Guns buyback program is getting dangerous weapons off the streets. And this year, the program is bigger than ever before. At a press conference Friday at UMass Memorial Medical Center, 16 police departments joined forces to keep their community safe.
It's been a huge success. Since 2002, we've had almost 3,000 guns turned over in Worcester alone.
This is the 15th year the Worcester Police Department has participated in the program. It's the first year for Dudley, Fitchburg, and Leominster. The event aims to get people who have or are not properly storing their firearms to return them for gift cards.
I have high aspirations on what we receive tomorrow for turn-ins, but even if we get one gun, that's one less gun in the city of Fitchburg that could cause someone harm.
The program will also accept replica firearms. Statistics from Massachusetts State Police in 2015 show a number of crimes around the state were being committed with replica guns.
Certainly the prevalence is there, and I know we've had issues in the past with some replica guns and different things of that nature.
So far, the program has collected more than 2,800 weapons at a cost of about $149,000. Dr. Michael Hirsch says it's still less than the cost of treating 3 gunshot victims.
So that's really what the principle is. It's not an anti-Second Amendment program. It basically says we agree that people have the right to bear arms and own firearms, but with that comes a responsibility to store them properly.
Dr. Hirsch says compared to similar cities in New England, Worcester has among the lowest gunshot victims. He says this program may have something to do with it.
I think there's a direct correlation. The good work that the doctor's doing and the amount of guns that we've taken off the streets here in Worcester County in the last 15 years is exceptional.
Olivia Lemon, Worcester News Tonight.
One of New England's greatest holiday traditions coming to the Hanover Theater tonight in Worcester. As you can hear, Christmas carols are playing and a full house was in attendance tonight at the theater. The Boston Pops Orchestra, directed by conductor Keith Lockhart, performed a holiday concert with classic Christmas songs and even a visit from Santa. The renowned orchestra travels throughout New England on their holiday tour during the Christmas season. Conductor Keith Lockhart says they are thrilled to be sharing the joy of the holiday season with the Worcester community.
This whole season is one of the most amazing in the Boston Pops calendar. We see about 100,000 people over the course of the month of December, and those are, of course, mostly concentrated in Symphony Hall back in Boston, but we make several regular stops going around to see our regional groups, including here and several other places in the New England area. This is one of our favorite places to go, mostly because of the beauty of this space and the enthusiasm of the crowd.
If you missed the performance tonight, PBS will be airing a full-length feature holiday concert called Happy Holidays with the Boston Pops throughout the month of December. And tomorrow night, Preservation Worcester will have its annual fundraiser at the Denholm building. The inside and exterior of the building will be transformed with Christmas decorations to make it look like it did back in the 1960s. It was a department store back then, and now a section of the street will be closed off, featuring a red carpet and even vintage cars. Our Rosalind Flaherty has a sneak peek.
We're just really excited to recreate the magic that was here at one time.
A landmark in downtown Worcester will celebrate its past Saturday night. Preservation Worcester is transforming the Denholm building into how it would have looked during the holiday season in the 1960s.
Bring back fond memories of when people were shopping and downtown Worcester was really vibrant.
Denholm's was once Worcester's largest and most modern department store. Preservation Worcester Executive Director Deb Packard says it's taken months to recreate decorations once there during the holiday season.
We want to bring back that nostalgia and celebrate the building and a past time.
Chris Sawyer is a professional creative director and has designed the window displays and other decorations. His grandmother worked at Denholm's for 30 years and says this place is very close to his heart.
My career was jump-started by Denholm's. You know, my grandmother would show me pictures of the window displays, and I was instantly fascinated.
Saturday's event is a fundraiser for Preservation Worcester. It will feature a vintage fashion show, and the tree of lights will be lit up on the building for the first time in 40 years.
To have it back up and to see the joy and the happiness that it brings to everybody, for me, it's a moment that I never thought I would see again.
Deb Packard says they chose the Denholm building because it's part of the downtown revitalization plan.
It's been targeted as a building that needs development, so we're hoping to bring people in for them to see the space and for them to think of ways that it could be utilized, this first floor in the future.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
The Worcester District Attorney's Office is hoping a new website will help in the battle against opioid addiction. They're calling it the Memorial Wall, and it shows pictures of people in Worcester County who lost their battle with addiction. Our Andy Madison has the details.
They are the names and faces of people in central Massachusetts who died from opioid abuse.
These are normal, healthy, happy people that, for one reason or another, might have been a sports injury. They got prescribed the medication. Something happened where they started, 80% of the time, they started with a prescription pill and ended up using heroin.
Their names, ages, and the date they died, all on a website launched this week called Memorial Wall. District Attorney Joseph Early Jr. got the idea when he attended a summit in Atlanta and saw it was being used in another city with an opioid problem.
I don't mind taking the best ideas that are working throughout the country, stealing the best ideas or borrowing the best ideas, if you will. And I thought this was one of the best things that we could do to get people to share in their grief, share in their pain, and help us beat the problem.
When you're in recovery, you're frequently alone because you're anonymous, you're trying to hide things. There's nothing wrong with admitting and openly saying, I'm in recovery.
The website is getting a positive response in the community. Patrice Muchowski of AdCare Services thinks it will make people realize opioid abuse affects all kinds of people.
It identifies that people, normal people, young people, are struggling with this illness and that it has devastating consequences.
Consequences many don't want to see result in adding more names to the memorial wall.
These are people who we have to define by who they are. Son, daughter, brother, sister. Not junkie addict or words like that. We've got to use compassion.
In Worcester, Andy Madison, Worcester News Tonight.
Members of the Worcester Police Department are lending a helping hand to the Friendly House by selling the Boys and Girls Club, by selling t-shirts. 100 of the proceeds will go towards the organization's boxing club program to celebrate Carlos Garcia. Garcia served on the Boys and Girls Club of Worcester as a senior instructor of boxing and fitness since 1984. He was also recently inducted into the National Golden Gloves Hall of Fame. Worcester police say these shirts are a great way to celebrate the accomplishments while also raising money for the program. So far, they have sold hundreds of shirts for $20 each.